Hello, how's it going? Today, we're going back to Azeroth. Finally. I know I said that we were going back to Azeroth a week and a half ago, but we're finally doing it now. The Pantheon spirits are hurtling through space after their battle with Sargeras. They need some physical bodies before they fade into oblivion, and the Keepers seem like decent candidates. What could go wrong? I guess you're about to find out. So let's go! The Keepers were just sat around minding their own business when suddenly they felt overwhelmed with memories of distant worlds never visited and lifetimes never lived. But just as soon as this influx of power had come, it was gone. Still retaining their original personalities, they wondered what the balls that was all about and called out to the Pantheon for answers. Only no answer came. Little did they know, the Pantheon spirits were now inside them. The silence troubled the Keepers, and they sank into a long period of confusion and unease. Meanwhile, the old god Yogg-Saron sat in its prison and sensed this roller coaster of emotions. And it loved it. It had a plan of how to escape. It would corrupt the Forge of Wills, tainting its creation matrix with a strange affliction known as the Curse of Flesh. Any Titan Forge created thereafter would fall victim to this disease, even spreading it to previous generations. The Curse of Flesh would transform them into mortal beings of flesh and blood, and then Yogg-Saron would straight up murder them. Loken had been the most troubled by the Pantheon's silence, so Yogg-Saron bombarded him with fevered dreams. But despite all this, Loken resisted. He'd wake up, he'd think, what was all that about? And then he'd just carry on with his day. This annoyed Yogg-Saron, but some soap opera stuff's about to happen, so Loken's going to go mental anyway, and it's fine. Loken found comfort and solace in a Vrykul named Sif. He'd often meet her in private, confessing his darkest fears. Although Sif was the mate of Loken's brother Thorin, one thing led to another, and they had sexy times. Yogg-Saron latched onto Loken's love for Sif and twisted it into a dangerous obsession. Sif would be walking along and suddenly, Loken would appear out of a bush and be like, "Where you going? What are you thinking? How come you haven't called me? I made you a souffle." The relationship quickly soured due to Loken's increasingly compulsive behaviour, and because he kept forcing Sif to eat souffles. He kept talking of openly professing their love for one another. Sif really didn't want to do that, so she broke up with Loken. And that didn't end so well. Loken went mental and murdered the bitch. Loken felt pretty guilty about that, but not guilty enough to come clean to Thorin. He scrambled for a way to cover it up, and at this point, Sif's spirit appeared before his eyes. She told him that she forgave him, but he needed to make haste and hide the truth from Thorin. Otherwise, the Titan Forged would descend into a civil war. Ain't nobody got time for civil wars. Loken dragged her corpse to the Storm Peaks and informed Thorin of his wife's demise. However, he told Thorin that Arngrim, the king of the Ice Giants, was to blame. Grief-stricken, Thorin went and found Arngrim and killed him. I hope you didn't like Arngrim too much, because that's his entire contribution to the story. He's gone now. Get over it. Anyway, this event ignited a catastrophic war between Thorin's Storm Giants and Arngrim's Ice Giants. As the conflicts raged, Sif's spirit provided even more guidance to Loken. Build a huge army of your own, using the Forge of Wills to protect Ulduar from the destruction of the warring giants. Interesting guidance there, Sif. I'm sure everyone's starting to realise what's really going on here. Got a bit of dramatic irony going on in this episode. Loken was even persuaded to punish Thorin for starting the war. He went right up to Thorin's face and said, "You should be ashamed of yourself. If Sif could see you now, she'd be disgusted. You dick." This hit Thorin pretty hard. He fell into a deep depression, abandoned Ulduar, and languished in solitude. Loken used his new army to overwhelm the giants and end the conflict. But as the battles had progressed, he'd noticed something unsettling in his warriors. Their spirits were tainted with a dark ailment. He called out to Sif for advice, but there was no reply. It was at this point that Loken realised Sif's spirit had never actually existed. It was an illusion, created by none other than Yogg-Saron. What a twist! Loken had unknowingly allowed Yogg-Saron to play him as an unwitting pawn. This discovery basically destroyed any remaining parts of Loken that weren't mental. He became obsessed with keeping his transgressions a secret, even if it meant embracing the power of the old god. With such might at his command, he knew he could defeat the Keepers and destroy any evidence of his wrongdoing. And we're leaving it there! That was pretty crazy, wasn't it? First we had Odin lose his marbles, and now Loken's lost his marbles. Curse of Flesh is happening, so it looks like Yogg-Saron's plan is working. How could things possibly get worse? Well, I can assure you they're gonna, so maybe stay tuned for more lore videos. Best way to do that is to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, press the like button. Talk to me in the comments. Are you enjoying the story? Is it better than you thought it was going to be? Did you think Warcraft was just about orcs and humans? And now you're like, holy moly, it's not just about orcs and humans. I don't know why you sound like that. The next video looks like it's going to be a very small one, so I'll try and upload that before Friday, and then we'll just have a normal-sized video on Friday. So, 3 videos. Whoa, hold on to something. But all that's left to say is, thanks very much for watching, Happy New Year, and see ya!